But the real leaders, the ones who share their mistakes, the fact they don't know anything instead of pretending that they actually know everything, and more importantly, the ones who show up in a way that makes them feel like, hey, it's comfortable to talk to me. It's okay to share your challenges. I will listen fully without allowing you to feel like you don't belong here. You're going to be shamed for being really personal and honest with me. That's your whole self. But we don't do that often because we feel like in a professional setting, people only want to see the good. But unfortunately, it's a workplace, just like life. We're not good at everything. We're going to make mistakes. And the only way to really connect to someone, I feel from a place of kindness, is to show both the good and the not so good, the wins and the losses, the opportunities for improvement, and the things that you do really well. That's how you bring your whole self to work.
Welcome to Engage Presents. I'm Engage co-founder and president Jake Olson. In this interview series, I ask Engage talent the most common questions we hear from event planners to help you get to know them and their stories in 15 minutes or less. Thanks for listening. Welcome to another episode of Engage Presents. I'm Engage President Jake Olson. Alongside me today, a very exciting gentleman, Shola Richard. Shola is the CEO and founder of Go to Global, and he's a best-selling author. Shola, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure's all mine, Jake. Thanks for taking a minute to talk to me.
Absolutely, and I was gonna use one of those nicknames that we talked about right before getting online, but I felt like you can share one of your favorite one because those are some pretty fun nicknames.
Yeah, man. So it's funny because my name Shola is West African, means one who is blessed, but Shola's, not a common name. So the only way to get people to know it, because Jake was very kind, wanted to make sure to lock in the pronunciation. So I'm like, Shola Cola. Just remember that. It's like, oh man, like Shola Coca-Cola is like one of the worst nickname that I had when I worked in my previous workplace is that Shola autocorrects on most iPhones to Ebola. Like it used to back in the day when Ebola was a thing pre-COVID, like back in the mid 2010s. So people were like, oh, hey, it's Ebola Shola. So like that didn't really hit too well because I worked in a healthcare environment at that time. So that wasn't really what was happening. No one really wants Ebola coming to their inbox or anywhere else. But the nicknames follow me when you have a unique name. Just can't escape it.
I love it. I love it. And very cool name too. So,
Thanks, brother.
so you made workplace civility your life's work here, and workplace civility, and I want to know why that. What is it, and why couldn't it wait?
It's funny because workplace civility is one of the first things that I started to talk about, how we treat each other, which is like so important, right? You show up to work
Yes.
and whether like, someone just walks by in the morning and you're like, hey, good morning. And like, what's so good about it? It literally just that interaction sets off this cascade of awfulness that affects everything. So there's a quote that drives a lot of the work that I do. It's from a guy named Brennan Manning. He said, in every interaction, you're either giving life or you are draining it. There is no neutral exchange. And so when I think about this, everything from welcoming someone in the hallway as you pass by them, or how you greet someone in a team meeting, or when someone asks for your help in a project, you roll your eyes, you actually lean in with support. All these things create great workplaces. But it's now a little deeper than that for me. Like workplace civility has been where I've been really kind of getting like my foot in the door, but now it's kind of eclipsed into something a little bigger around just the act of kindness itself. And kindness is really kind of civility is like how we show up in the workplace, which is critically important. But I think we're in a really unique time in our world where kindness is needed desperately in our communities, in our families, certainly in our workplaces. And this is how I feel we take the next step of really reclaiming our human experience. I'll just say this really quickly, Jake, because I've been kind of ruminating on this question for quite a while. It's like, I don't know if our society can survive if we don't learn how to be kinder to each other. So that's why I'm really leaning into kindness now as like kind of the next evolution from workplace stability.
No, it's absolutely right. And you chuckled in the beginning there, just like how simple it is. But I mean, maybe that's why it's overlooked so much because it is so simple. But it's some of the simple things are the most important, like breathing, being
There's
kind.
that.
So,
Breathing is so important, super important.
right. So, love it. So, um, let's talk about Go Together Global. That movement you created, and then you bring in this concept. And again, you mentioned Western African. I'm guessing this is what it's from. And excuse the pronunciation if it's not right, but Ubuntu. How is that being brought into that?
Yeah, so Ubuntu is this powerful African philosophy that means I am because we are. So my company, Go Together Global, is based off of the powerful African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And so Ubuntu doesn't actually have like a one-to-one equivalent in the English language. It's the best way to think about it It's the height of human kindness, human compassion, and human connectedness. So in a sense, like it's the idea like there's no place where I end and you begin. So you're recording from Jacksonville, I'm here in Los Angeles. If I were to harm you in some way, whether it's through my words or me showing up late for this interview and not treating you with respect, whatever it may be, it may seem on the surface that I'm harming you, but the Ubuntu mindset would say I'm also harming myself in the process. So when you think about it that way, that level of connectedness, it's so powerful. This just happened to me recently, so I can't help but think about this. It's actually not funny, so I don't even know why I'm laughing about it. It's actually pretty cringy. I was going on a flight, and there's this mom who was had her two children who are probably both under the age of 4, and she's trying to manage this like huge contraption of a baby stroller as she's going down the jetway. And the stroller just wouldn't collapse, and then ended up falling on itself. And so
Mm.
she's trying with one arm to turn this over and get it right side up. Baby's crying in her arm, toddlers kicking things around, and everyone is just like walking onto the plane and just walking around her, not even acknowledging her presence. And it was wild. It just took one person who was ahead of me because I was going to do this if she didn't get to her first. Like, hey, can I help you with something? Like, oh my gosh, thank you. Would you mind holding my daughter? And she's holding the kid. And it seems so simple, but so many people were so untethered to their shared humanity as they walked in that plane. I want to get on my seat in the plane. This person's in my way. I'm just going to move past her. And all it took was one woman just be like, let me help you. Let me help you by grabbing your suitcase or whatever it may be, holding your child. And what it was so interesting is when she took that step to go first, and this is the biggest part about the Ubuntu mindset, not waiting for someone else. Like, I'm going to go first. I'm going to be the leader to do this. Everyone else was like, oh my gosh, well, while you're grabbing the child, let me go ahead and collapse the stroller for you. And hey, do you need anything else with your suitcase? But it just needed someone to go first.
Yeah.
And this one woman in that act of kindness, that's what Ubuntu really is. This way of like, I would want someone to do this for me. I would want to be if I was in this situation, I'd want to be treated with this level of respect, to be seen in that way. That's why I loved it. And it's like, and I didn't go up to her after. We're like, oh my gosh, that's Ubuntu in action. Because that'd be weird. She doesn't know me. But like in my head, I'm like, this is great. So I just wish more people would do that. And that's what I'm trying to encourage on stages. It's like these small acts that seem, in fact, I probably shouldn't even be using that word. There's no real small act of kindness. It's like this idea of just doing this one thing that's seemingly as small to us that could have an enormous impact on someone going forward.
I absolutely love that. That's amazing. Absolutely love that. Subscribe to that. And yes, that's it's a very important thing to have the courage to be able to do because you're right. I mean, I think most people want to be kind and are looking for ways, but awkwardness and I don't know. I guess some places in this society, it's like the fear of maybe being scolded or whatnot. But it's like, no, being nice and taking that step forward is way more important than any of those kind of other, ways it could go. But what does it mean to bring your whole self to work? And, how might that look actually when it's taking place?
It's such an interesting question. I think of my whole self as the part of me that is not only authentically me, like my feelings, my ideas, my presence, my humor, obviously appropriately done, but it's also my fears, my insecurities, the things that show me as who I am as an imperfect being. Because we often want to do the highlight reel stuff, and that doesn't connect you to anyone. So, man, I had a great time in that meeting. I nailed it. And I'm only talking about my wins. I'm not bringing my whole self to work. And I feel like, especially for leaders, right? The ones who are so afraid of showing weakness because they feel like they'll be taken advantage of or they won't be taken seriously. But the real leaders, the ones who share their mistakes, the fact they don't know anything instead of pretending that they actually know everything, and more importantly, the ones who show up in a way that makes them feel like, hey, it's comfortable to talk to me. It's okay to share your challenges. I will listen fully without allowing you to feel like you don't belong here. You're going to be shamed for being really personal and honest with me. That's your whole self. But we don't do that often because we feel like in a professional setting, people only want to see the good. But unfortunately, it's a workplace, just like life. We're not good at everything. We're going to make mistakes. And the only way to really connect to someone, I feel from a place of kindness, is to show both the good and the not so good, the wins and the losses, the opportunities for improvement and the things that you do really well. That's how you bring your whole self to work.
And so let's talk about kind of those leaders, building that culture. So, what can leaders do? Practical steps that leaders can do to build that culture of belonging and psychological safety.
First things first is to, as they say, party starts when we get on the dance floor first, right? That's what it requires. Someone to be the one to be like, you know what? I'm going to share something that just happened to me recently that didn't work out. It could be something simple in a team meeting. You could share one-on-ones, like, hey, what are some opportunities for my improvement? Like literally seeking feedback. But the thing is how it's done. I used to work for a boss who would literally do this. It's hilarious. Not actually that funny at all, but it's hilarious looking back on it. She would be like, so, what feedback do you have for me? And she leaned back in her chair and clearly doesn't want feedback, right? So if you want to create an environment, you have to walk the talk. So when I'm saying like, hey, listen, I'm open to feedback. How can I improve? What could I do better? Or maybe even something even simpler. Hey, what is something that I could offer you that would help to make your job a little easier? What could I do to make it so you can do your job more effectively? And hey, what are some ideas that you have that we could do as a department so we could work more effectively? These questions where you're soliciting ideas from people doesn't mean you gotta actually implement them all, but at least you're asking and taking them seriously. This builds an environment of like, whoa, she actually cares about what I have to say. This guy actually cares about my ideas. That's how you start to build inclusion. It's a start, but also too, it's like saying that you're going to do something and actually meaning it when you're having these conversations is so important. If you're actually going to ask for someone's feedback, act on it. And if you can't, tell them why you can't. But more importantly, just make them feel like they're part of something that's bigger than themselves. And I think most workplaces sometimes just focus on let's just get the job done, do your thing, and go home. But since in workplace is made of individuals, these individuals need to feel like they're connected to others so they can do their best work. And that happens from the boss creating an idea where you can come in, be real, and talk from a place of inclusion rather than a place of separateness.
I feel like that was another African proverb there. Get the party started by going on the dance floor
Let's
first.
go.
So,
There should be, if it's not one, can we get that trending? Because I mean, sometimes some random stuff just throws in my head and I just like kind of go with it. It's a weird thing.
I love that. All right, so you talking to healthcare organizations, Silicon Valley, even Congress. Walk us through kind of what are your talks like? Are they across the board very similar, or do you kind of mix it up? Or are you having a PowerPoint to go along with you? Explain kind of how it works.
Yeah, so I have three signature talks that I have. One is called Strong Enough to Be Kind, How We Create Cultures Worth Fighting For. This talk is really around bringing real strategic kindness into the workplace. I like to call it kindness with a backbone because a lot of people have this weird idea that kindness is weakness. I don't know why that's sustained for so long. It's the strangest thing because the hard stuff, like having boundaries, caring for issues that don't affect you personally, standing up to unkindness, these things are not for the weak. So I talk about how to create a real culture of real strategic kindness so we can be strong enough to do so. So that's one. Second one is the one that we talked about earlier around Ubuntu. And it's the courage to go together. Three questions that change how we work, how we live, and how we lead. And this is around connection, specifically that idea of Ubuntu that we talked about earlier. And so we already went into that. So I'll go to the third one is unstoppable resilience. This is a weird time that we're in where it's hard to show up as our best selves with mental health challenges and family issues that all get in the way of us doing our best work. So I talk about how to really build resilience from a science-based way. So the thing about my keynotes, all of them accompanied by PowerPoints, but more importantly, just like obviously like bulleted slides, which are gross, and I don't do that. They're more images to support the talk and giving people real, freakishly practical ways to put this into action. So my background is organizational psychology and instructional design when I worked at UCLA Health for 11 years, and how to use this to really change how people work, how they live, and how they lead. So it's not just science, of course, because that also can be a little too far and a little too heady for some folks. It's science with humor, stories with life application, and more importantly, a way for you to walk away to put this into action the second I'm done speaking. Like, I don't feel like it's 2025. Like, if you think about like 2015 public speakers, you could get away with like inspiration. Really could. Like, man, that guy was so good. I don't remember what he said though, but he's so good. Like now it's like he was good because I'm going to do X, I'm going to do Y, I'm going to do Z. Whatever those three things are, the things that you want them to. So every one of my talk has three takeaways because three seems to be the number that really sticks with people. So like, here are the seven things you need to do. Like, ah, man, I don't know what. Like, I don't. What was five again? So it's just three things. Each keynote has three main points. and they walk away with them. And if I'm doing it well, they're going to keep reciting them after they're done. And it's a really powerful way to keep this thing going. So it's very, very fun for me. And I love, love, love it. It's my favorite thing on earth to do.
Well, very encouraging, very inspirational, and very powerful. We thank you, Shola, for your time. If you want to check out more of Shola's work, his talks, book him, obviously, letsengage.com. You can check out his profile there. And I'll give you the guarantee he won't disappoint. Just in our brief conversation here, Shola, you are a terrific man and one who has a very big heart, and one I hope that we could ever figure out cloning. I would want to like clone like a million of you and just live in
Oh,
that neighborhood.
Jake, my guy. God, I appreciate you, man. Can I bottle this episode and just take it with me on my phone whenever I'm like having those days of like, what's going on here? I really appreciate you, man. You're a very kind soul, and it's an honor to know you and work with you.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure. And stay tuned for more Engage Presents.